Hey, Slancha, how do you do, Buckaroos? And how the heck are you? Got messed up on me as soon as I moved that. Yeah, just there. Hey, so how the heck are you? I am Tom. Well, I'm going to be Tom the Whiskey Whisperer today, but the first thing I'm going to have to drink with you is whiskey. I'm going to do some nice whiskey neat here, but I thought I needed a quicker delivery system, so we're going to start a little different. Mercy. Just my camera there, see if that helps. And we'll leave it at that, I think. All right. So how the heck are you? Um, did work today, so I wasn't watching TV. Some of you watch something on TV today? Uh, well, I think we've just entered the, the decline phase in our experiment. I love when I bring up democracy. That all the Trump nutters, when I quick to point out that we're not a democracy. And I always wonder why that is so important for them to point that out because they never have a good reason, right? We're not a democracy, we're a constitutional republic. Well, if they were to look that up, if they were actually to do any kind of research, if they had just read a book at some point in their life, they would realize, yes, we are a democracy. We are a constitutional republic with democratic principles. But I've always wondered, I can't make that make sense why they want to be quick to point that out. As we've now entered the fascism phase in our country's journey, we're just watching Rome burn at this point. Everything is just so tragic, comedically tragic. I mean, I didn't think he was going to win. I never thought that folks would actually vote for a felon rapist, but they did. And that's the issue, right? His particular base, people that support him still, are fact resistant. When you bring up an actual fact, something provable that you can show this is a fact, they still want to label it as an opinion. They have the ability. It's that mass cognitive dissonance that whole tribe has. I don't know if there's a phenomenon that has a name, but uh, they're able to. When I've asked the question of Trump supporters, when I've asked, would you accept this behavior from anybody else? They never have an answer because the answer is no. Of course they would, but for whatever reason, he gets a pass on whatever. They won't hold him responsible for anything, and he won't hold himself responsible for anything. And I think that's what they like, right? They don't want to be held responsible for their decisions either. So now we've got the first FOTUS felon of the United States. Felon, a rapist, a known predator. horrible, despicable human being, but this is what we got, man. There's just no way to defend it now. We are clearly a laughing stock throughout the world at this point. All the friends that I have, the people I know that don't live in this country, I'll say, you guys have lost your minds. Yeah, yeah, we are stuck on stupid permanently at this point. Because you think somebody that squandered a fortune, that's cheated on all of his wives, paid porn stars for sex, that somehow actually cares about you, cares about this country? No, he didn't give a rat's ass about anybody but himself. But again, they're fact resistant. There's no point talking logic and reason to folks that have abandoned logic and reason to support a madman. So what do you do about it, Sal? I said, oh, hell, I don't know. I'm probably just going to wait here till the Gestapo comes and picks me. I mean, you've got Elon Musk out there already doing the zig heil, man. Oh, they'll find a way to try to walk it back like that's not what he meant. But that's exactly what he meant. Of course it was. And nobody wants to be called a Nazi. But if you were to pigeonhole these folks, get them to actually answer a question, you're going to find out they actually want fascism. They just don't like the word. They don't want to be called fascists. They don't want to be called Nazis. But if you break it down to the points and find out what they like, that's exactly what they want. They want to turn us into a fascist society. They want to marginalize folks that they don't agree with. They want to impose their pseudo morality on everybody else. And that's the rub, isn't it? I mean, you want to impose some sort of bizarre morality when you just voted for a rapist. Think about that. That's why I opted to go with opted to go. I hadn't had one in a while. I have to go with a dirty martini. Chilled some vodka. This isn't expensive vodka. It's just some stuff we picked up at Trader Joe's back in September or on vacation. I am going to have some nice whiskey neat. I was trying to decide which one, but I thought with the martini, I can get some alcohol in my system quicker. Came home, made something to eat. I put some bean soup on earlier, so I had some bean soup. Just we made a wife and I split an egg salad sandwich. And I had some bean soup, some poor folk comfort food. Because these days you need some comfort. I've been really needing that comfort food lately. Yesterday we had some Campbell's tomato soup, and I made some ham salad. Sometimes you just need that comfort food. And we seem to need it real bad these days. We need some kind of comfort, some kind of sense of normality, which I'm not even sure exists anymore, to be honest with you. I am frightened for the society that we're leaving our children and grandchildren. I'm really, yeah, I mean, I fear for the lives of my grandchildren and growing up and whatever this is going to be next. I am concerned for all my friends and family in the LGBTQ. Just a bizarre time right now. It just doesn't. It just seems very surreal. Like, really, you really vote? You're going to somehow try to justify voting for a rapist? And there's you can't have this discussion, man. You can't say he's not a rapist. I mean, he is. That's proven. This isn't my opinion. This is a provable fact. You could look it up. He is a rapist. That's known. But his base will deny it to the end. They will not hold him accountable for anything. It's just that mass cognitive dissonance, and I've never seen anything like it before. because I wasn't alive in you know, 1930s Germany, but I feel like that's where we're at right now. I mean, you look at Hitler's speeches, and he said some rather bizarre things, and I remember in school going, "How could people believe that?" And then here we are. We've got this guy who says the most bizarre things, and somehow they just let it slide. So anyway, I'm gonna finish up my finish up this. I'm gonna pour something. I'm just trying to decide what whiskey goes best with societal decline. What goes best with complete and utter societal failure? Huh, that's a tough ass question. What goes best with the decline of Western civilization? Oh, I don't want to drink my best stuff per se because I'm tired, but I want to have something really good here. I got a few options. I want something strong though. Maybe that's what's going to help me make this particular decision. I think I'm going to go in this direction. Hewling, Hewling Station. This is their trolley stop series, aged 9 years old. This is their aged 9 years. I'm sorry, I should say. Main Street Line, straight bourbon whiskey. This is at 119.23 proof. This irrefutable fine whiskey was specially commissioned and made in strict accordance with old Dominic's family recipe. What's interesting about this whiskey for me is the mash bill. It's just incredible. 50% corn. So it has to be a minimum of 51% corn to be bourbon. So we're just there, we're right at it. But this is the part. 44% rye. Think about that. Many will consider high rye at 25 to 30%. This is 44%. So this is a serious high rye bourbon, man. I'm going to give myself a rather generous pour as I shift things around here. Uh, I'm off tomorrow. I'm not sure if I'm going to have to get out for anything. Part of me wants to go out, meet some friends, but it's going to be very cold tomorrow. And then part of me just wants to shut out the damn world, shut out the noise. Uh, I haven't been watching any news because it's just brutal out there. And now it's just, the damage is done. Now we just wait and see how bad it is or how bad it's going to get. Right in my glass there. Oh, look at that color of that whiskey. That's just gorgeous, is it not? This is some nice stuff, man. When I was a kid, Dad always drank Jim Beam. Well, he drank Jim Beam, Jack Daniels, or Wild Turkey, and that was it. But he drank it with water. And what I mean by that is he took a glass, put as many ice cubes that would fit in that glass, pour the bottle of Jim Beam into that glass until there was about this much space left, and just hit that tap open. So that's what I mean by saying water. Just a little bit, just top it off. But that's how I grew up drinking. As I got older, my early 20s, I guess I liked. I usually drank bourbon and soda, like the club soda. And then at some point, I went to rocks. And now I mostly enjoy neat, but I do like some good cocktails every once in a while. Other than the highball, Dad wasn't really a cocktail guy. That one highball that I mentioned. But as I've gotten older, I really enjoy a good Manhattan. Um, I've gotten to where I don't mind an old fashioned, but I have to have it my way. Joanne, if you're still watching, how the heck are you? Hope you're handling the news all right. I think at this point, we're all just wondering how bad it's going to get. So it doesn't really do any good to sit and fret over it and worry about it. So what's going to happen is going to happen, whether I worry about it or not. So I think the best thing any of us can do is just to keep going until we can't anymore. We can find a way to affect change when we need to do that. But I think we need to make sure we're doing it the right way. If we're going to protest, we need to make sure we're protesting the right way, and we're not damaging property or looting, because then we give them the ammunition that they need. We need to make sure we're doing it. Want to affect change, we need to do it the right way. But that's a problem too, right? I mean, what is the right way? Hell, I don't know. Uh, yeah, somebody smarter than I needs to put a plan together. I don't have an idea. I just know the things that we shouldn't be doing, right? We can't be starting riots. We can't be doing overtly stupid things that give them the ammunition they need. And I don't know. I mean, of course, he's not going to call anything the Gestapo, but I feel like that's what's next. He's going to put together this organization that will, in effect, be the Gestapo that wants to police everything we do. At some point, they're going to start taking names of us, our friends, our neighbors, everybody they deem not perfect for their society, I guess. This is a nice whiskey, man. A lot of big sweetness up front. I almost get this a very dark brown sugar note. You're gonna find some molasses, but it is a. I mean, the rye here is insane. So it's a bit of a chewy whiskey, especially at this cask. But there's a lot of spice going on. You get the rye spice, but a lot coming from the barrel as well. This stuff is absolutely gorgeous, man. Now, if you want to have it on the rocks, that's, I mean, hell, I don't care. In fact, if you bought the bottle, I don't give a rat's ass what you do to it. Okay, you want to desecrate it. I mean, you spent the money, do what you got to do. But yeah, for me, a whiskey of this caliber, yeah, there's certainly nothing wrong with putting it on the rocks. But I do even that cask. I like it neat. But I have made a Manhattan with it. It makes a beautiful Manhattan because you've got that very high rye content. But I didn't feel like making a Manhattan. Today's reality didn't call for a Manhattan. It called for whiskey neat. Called for a rock gut martini and then some good whiskey neat. And so that's what we did. But I think the reality, what people are going to find out is no, your grocery prices aren't going down. There's not a damn thing he can do about it. There was never a damn thing he can do about it, but some of you are so stupid you just believed it anyway. He spews hate and vitriol, and you all want to lap it up. So this is the society we apparently deserve. We've all earned this. I mean, even those that didn't support him, that didn't vote for him, we let it happen. So we all need to take our shared responsibility for the mess that's going to happen next. Again, I am fearful for my friends in the LGBTQ community. I fear for my grandchildren and everybody's grandchildren for the society they're going to end up living in. But the greater majority decided they didn't care if he was a felon. They didn't care if he was a rapist. They don't care that he's a sexual predator. They don't care that he's a liar, a coward, and a traitor. They don't care about any of that stuff. But they live in an alternate reality and refuse to believe anything that disrupts what they want to believe. Again, it's just that bizarre mass cognitive dissonance that just doesn't make sense. But you can't talk logic and reason to folks that have abandoned logic and reason. Mm. Good golly, that's good whiskey. So anyway, I'm going to try to enjoy my next couple of days off. Although I'm not completely off, I have some work to do. Just I won't be in the tap room. I do have some work to do outside the tap room, some outside sales, but that's not a big thing. But tomorrow's going to be the cold day here in the Ozarks, so I will probably try to stay in if I can, even though it's usually a day. A couple good friends of mine usually like to meet for beer, but man, with the cold weather out there, that's just painful on my arthritis and old bones, man. And I've got some good beer and I've got some good whiskey to go through. A friend of mine, Brad, had given me some beers from St. Arnold. Had a couple of them last night. So I want to work through some. I need to do some not live videos, but just some videos for those beers specifically. And I've got one good Jackie O's beer left. I've got a couple barrel aged from Wolf's Ridge. And tomorrow it seems like will be a perfect day to do that. Since it's going to be very cold, it'll be a perfect day to have a nice barrel aged beer. Of course, I only have one of them. When I'm having those quite sparingly, there's only a couple left. But I want to make sure I have that first. And then, always start big and then work your way down the food chain. Oh, God, this whiskey's gorgeous. It's starting to work now, too. It's starting to work, man. It's starting to do its job. Oh, making some of the thing is, it doesn't make the aches and pains go away per se, but you don't care as much anymore. It still kind of hurts, but what are you going to do? After a certain age, after things that you've done to yourself, there's just a certain amount of pain that is always going to be there. Ugh. God, this whiskey is gorgeous, man. I do like Huling Station products. Old Dominic. I've had their regular high rye bourbon, but this is the first time I've had this one. This thing is just that 44%. I mean, man, this whiskey is just gorgeous. That big high rye, but there's a certain amount of sweetness in here, balanced by that rice spice, which really does lend itself well to a classic Manhattan. And I wouldn't be opposed. Quite frankly, I would rather drink this if I did want it cold. I would rather drink it straight up than on the rocks. I'd rather just have it, chill a glass, chill the whiskey good, and then pour it in, and then drink it cold. Which I may do that later. Actually, now that I say that out loud, I'd prefer that application than to let ice just continue to melt in it. But sometimes cold tastes good, even when it's cold. Which is why I just poured it neat, man. I had the cold martini, some whiskey neat. I got about 3 ounces in there, so this will get everything rolling. This is gonna get things moving, man. Oh, so we'll see. Again, we'll see where our society goes from here. I have no idea. I have a few things I'm concerned about, as do most of us, I think. But I'm trying not to get worked up because it's not productive. Doesn't do any of us any good to get worked up over perceived problems until we start seeing some of it. Um, then we can start getting very concerned. But in the meantime, I think some of us might need to find a way to get together and figure out what the next step is, how we can be productive without being destructive. And that's the hard part, right? How we can work together to do something productive to affect change without appearing destructive. I mean, looting doesn't help. Riots don't help. That gives them the ammunition they need. We need to do things the right way. So we may need to relax, take a breath, and figure out what that is, and not just panic and do stuff that we're going to regret later. And that's the phase I'm in right now. I'm trying to take a breath and say, okay, what is the right way to do this now? Ah, I made a few posts on social media today. Kind of had to get it out of my system. Sometimes you got to purge things every once in a while. It's not good to hold in. So I got a few things out. I picked up a lot of trolls. I had a few folks leave a comment, but then block me. So even they don't believe their convictions, right? I think that's kind of the problem, though. Is I'm not even sure how much they actually believe. I know they want to say they do, and they want to act a certain way, but they seem to lack conviction, because when you ask for specific answers, they don't have any. They can't give you one. They will say he's not this, that, or that, but when you show them proof, they say, "Well, that's just your opinion." No, no, this isn't an opinion. This is fact. See, this is proven fact that this happened. I don't know. But anyway, this is our new reality. So we're gonna have to find a way to make the best of it. But again, that's the problem too. Is we don't know what the hell. I don't know what that is. What does that even mean, Tom? Hell, I don't know. We'll have to make the best of it. I'm not gonna do anything tonight, but finish my whiskey. So anyway, I am Tom, the whiskey whisperer, whiskey evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and all around good guy. Sláinte. Thanks for tuning in.